Hey, good afternoon. It's Jo here from Celebrating Sexuality Festival. I am the co-founder and festival director. So the festival's been running, this is for 6 years. Actually, we're going into our 7th year for this festival in November. So that's really exciting for all of us who are involved in organising and presenting the workshops. So today I'm bringing you this Facebook Live. So hi to those who are watching, and welcome to those who are watching us on the replay. Today, I'm going to be talking with one of our 2018 presenters, Vanessa Vance, and I'll introduce her to you very shortly. Just wanted to let you know that over half the tickets have been sold to this November's festival. So there's some tickets now. The general release tickets are available via the website, and that's www.celebratingsexuality.com. So if you're thinking of getting your tickets, I'd say to do that very soon, because it looks like they will sell out. And I think too, I wanted to say, because we're just like 12, I think it's 12 weeks away now, so it's not too far either. So it's we're getting into the warmer months, which I'm really pleased about, being in Melbourne, freezing at the moment. So I also wanted to say as well, so what I've been doing over the last few weeks is bringing you these interviews with the presenters, because one of the most common questions I get asked is what happens at the festival. And so Celebrating Sexuality is a retreat with a festival atmosphere. So what this means is that you have that opportunity to experience workshops where you can learn about sex, relationships, intimacy, connection, but in groups of smaller groups of like kind of 30 people, rather than sometimes when you go to festivals and you do a workshop, it might be 100 people or so on, and you just really get information. But by keeping the groups smaller, it allows you to have a better access to the information that the presenter is giving to you. So you have some information as well as an experiential component. So you'll get to try some things as well. And the festival part of it really comes from, I personally, I love festivals, and, I've been going to them since my very early 20s, and really like that atmosphere of community and being able to meet new people as well as catch up with people I already know. And we also, what we do is we provide all of your food for the weekend. We have beautiful food catered for you through Vegilicious, which is a amazing restaurant in St Kilda, and they come on site and prepare all the food. For those of you who like meat, we do cater for people with meat, but that's all cooked separately. So you're very well fed. You have this great community of people to interact with. In the evenings, we have some comedy performance and some DJs playing as well, so there's some dancing. And we also have on Saturday night our much-loved fashion parade, which our fashion parade is actually you guys all dressing in a way that you want to express yourself and to basically kind of strut the runway. And we have lots of prizes and giveaways for that, and that is always amazing, always blows my mind. I'd encourage you to head over to the website and have a look at our photo gallery. So there's lots of photos on there of people from the previous festival. So go and check that out. So as I said, today is about helping you to understand more about the festival. And so I'd like to introduce you to Vanessa. Vanessa's joining us from Perth today. So is it Perth that you're in? You're in WA. Is it where are you actually? Yeah, in Perth.
Yeah, up in the hills of Perth, so east of the city.
Yeah, nice. It's. I mean, you've got a fire going in the background. Is it? I always imagine Perth to be hot. I don't know.
In the middle of summer, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can get quite chilly up here. In the hills, it's always misty mornings and everything in the middle of winter. So,
yeah, nice. So what I'll do is, because I would love to memorize everyone's bio, and I do know all the presenters and have a good chat, but I'm going to read your bio so I do it justice, not trying to remember it. So Vanessa is a counsellor, a coach, a sex educator, and shamanic facilitator, as we said, based in Perth in Western Australia. Vanessa uses an eclectic approach to therapy and coaching, incorporating psychodynamic, existential, and humanistic perspectives, as well as mindful and embodied based practices and techniques based around the sexological bodywork framework. Vanessa combines expressive art and eco-therapies to create shamanic spaces with ritual and ceremony for exploration, learning, and healing. Vanessa loves to work with individuals and groups to deepen their relationship with their body and identity as sexual, sensual, and sovereign beings. Vanessa is deeply motivated and passionate about furthering the culture of consent, embodiment, and sexual freedom. So welcome today, Vanessa.
Thank you, Jo.
So we'd like to just ask you some questions, first of all. I mean, what most people will be wondering about the kind of, probably like the workshops that you'll be presenting on the weekend. So I thought, because there's two cuddle party ones, but they have different aims and outcomes for those, and also erotic nature. Did you want to start with the erotic nature? Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
Sure. So erotic nature for me sort of is inspired out of my own connection with nature, in the sense that, I've kind of grown up around being in nature, and it's always been its own force for me, I guess, in my youth and my adolescence. And so I feel like there's a certain aspect of nature that is sort of is present, is innocent, is alive, has that sort of eroticism, which is really just the life force of who we all are and what we're all about. And we can call some of that sexuality or sexual energy, or we put other words to it if we want to make it genital focused. But really, I'm talking about sort of the pleasure, the part of our nervous system that is sort of wired for pleasure, and it's natural and it's innocent. And when we're first born, we're doing that. We're feeling, we're touching, we're sensating with the world. And so there's that piece of where we are nature, we are wild, we are free. We're all part of that whole ecosystem. And so the erotic nature workshop is really taking that sort of idea and really exploring the pleasure edge. And everybody's pleasure edge is going to be different. Everyone's coming into that space from a different place. And so this experience allows them to sort of explore whatever is authentic for them, and whatever their pleasure edge is. But we're doing it as a group, but you're actually having a personal solo journey with yourself, even if you're in the space with others. So there's a meditation aspect, there's sort of an embodiment guided piece within it, and then there's sort of like a freestyling section of it at the end, where everyone sort of just has their moment with music and really just explore their own bodies, explore through breath, through sound, through movement and touch, what their own pleasure edge is. And for some people that might just be, oh wow, I get to place my hands on my heart and just breathe, that's my pleasure edge right now. And I'm feeling connected, I'm feeling with nature. And we actually have a piece of nature with us during the process. So this is kind of like our connection point. We feel nature with us, that connects to us. But for other people, it might be like, they're in just want to sort of sing out in joys of ecstasy or orgasmic bliss, or they're happy to just explore all of their bodies, during that process. So, everyone's having their own individual experience. So it can be quite, there's a safety in that, in a sense that you're not sort of touching anybody, you're not engaging with anybody, you're feeling everybody, you're sensing everybody, and you're sort of this is sort of like a group experience, and that everyone's contributing to something beautiful, but you're having your own experience.
And I think that's because, there are opportunities for people to engage with people like yourself. All the workshop presenters at Celebrating Sexuality have a private practice, so there is that opportunity to work one-on-one with people like yourself But what is it too, that the difference with working in a group as well? That, I mean, there is a difference there, definitely. What would you describe that difference as for people?
Well, I think there's a permission giving sometimes that happens with groups. So, when if somebody else is actually quite confident and comfortable in their bodies, and happy and very free to go to whatever their pleasure edge is in a very expressive way, sometimes that can really give other people around them who might be sort of on that edge of like, oh, I don't want to be too loud, or their edge is, oh, I've never really owned my voice. Own my voice, and just going, and so hearing somebody else do it, so actually as a group, it's actually okay. We can actually do this. We can actually express. There's permission giving, I think, in a group space that can be really quite beautiful.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things too that, we do at Celebrating Sexuality, as well as we have that everybody who's going to be there on the weekend has to come in at a certain time, so that, we have that space set up already when people come in for respect, and and just in terms of encouraging each other and so on, because there's often that sort of feeling too of, oh, could I do that? And there's a lot of permission in the space in that way to engage, because I think that's where we have everyone, as we call it, on the same page. That opens up more permission for people to try something perhaps they might not do if they were on their own.
Exactly. And there's safety within that when everyone's on the same page. There's just this beautiful safety, and allows people to drop deeper because they feel safer.
Yeah, for sure. And so what about with the cuddle parties? So we have you're doing one of them on the opening night, and then there's another one later in the weekend, which will be the play essentials. So perhaps start with the opening night. Like, what? Just not too many spoilers, but just an idea of what sorts of things that people might expect. So when they're turning up, they'll, kind of have a bit of an idea already what to expect.
Sure. So the cuddle party format that I follow is the sort of the official cuddle party, which is the organization based in the US, because I'm a certified cuddle party facilitator, and sort of it has a very strict format that we follow. And so there's sort of like a mini workshop at the beginning where we sort of run through communication skills, and we get to it's all fun and it's playful, and so everybody is sort of engaging in ways that are platonic touch. So this explicitly non-sexual event is a cuddle party. So everyone keeps their clothes on. Often it's great to be in your pajamas, and people sometimes just, go crazy where they wear their onesies, and, it's all really comfy and cozy. So after the workshop, we then do the freestyling sort of cuddle part of it. So you get to sort of practice asking for what you want, or, either saying, may I hold your hand, or, will you rub my back? And so you use this sort of language to sort of engage with people. And then you sort of create this culture based around the rules that we run through in the welcome circle that really sort of really contain the space, so people get really clear, and there's no sort of hidden agendas with what we're doing in the space. It becomes really super clear, so everyone feels really safe to sort of play with oh, actually I want to try that. I want to try and just sitting with someone and just holding their hand, or actually I want to spoon with someone because I'm really comfortable with that, and find someone who wants to spoon with me. So you're finding people who want to do the same things as you, and being okay with getting a no, being okay with getting a yes, and playing with those kinds of things.
Yeah, and that, in terms of that, being okay with getting a no and okay with getting a yes, how's that kind of explained to people as well? Like, what's that sort of the way that that's handled in the workshop?
Okay, so the rules themselves are sort of they sort of self-explain that process as we go through it. And so there's that sense of, if you're a yes, you say yes. If you're a no, say no. If you're a maybe, you say no. So each one of those rules we sort of explain in detail. And so, this whole idea of saying no to someone is like a is a sign of respect. It's like they give an example in the welcome circle. An example is given of where, you know, someone is driving down Main Street and they stop and they ask for directions from you and say, is this the direction to so and so? And you know, if you were to say, oh yes it is, you're doing them a disrespectful thing because it's not actually helpful to them. But if you say no, not that, it's the other way. So it's like sort of making the no just really normalized, and actually you're actually helping people. It's actually a form of opening up people to other opportunities rather than it being about a personal rejection of the person. You're just saying no to the experience. You're not saying no to them.
Yeah, and I think that's something that, you know, well, I know I didn't get that kind of thing as I was growing up, like explicitly opportunities to try that out. My yeses and nos were all in the moment when my head was maybe going all over the place in terms of that I was attracted to someone or didn't know quite how far I wanted to go with that person. And so that opportunity to play with that in the sense of like test it and see how that feels, and then, you know, the advantages of that when you're actually in a situation with someone. You know, I mean, it's kind of like public speaking. Sometimes I think that's another way to explain it to people. The more you do public speaking, you know, you practice, you get better at it. And that's part of what this work helps people to do, is get better at something that, because, yeah, when you are feeling attracted to somebody, I mean, you know, what happens? Your brain just often goes somewhere else completely. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what about the play essentials? So the cuddle party play essentials, how does that, is that another level? Where does that go?
Well, it's sort of, you can still do the play essentials without having done the cuddle party. So the cuddle party is very, very in keeping with the cuddle party format. And so it's a really safe place to start for people who maybe, you know, are on Friday night going, oh, you know, because it's a non-sexual event and that kind of thing. Whereas the play essentials, the cuddle and play essentials, is really just taking some of the sort of things that we do in the cuddle party, the communication pieces, and we're playing with them in a little bit more, you know, in new ways, so that you can sort of take them to another level. And you can either bring a partner to the Play Essentials workshop, or you can bring a friend that you want to work with, or you can just, you know, go for potluck with whoever's going to be there. But the idea is that you're working with what is authentic for you. So you never have to do anything you don't want to do. That's the whole idea with both the cuddle party and the Play Essentials thing. And so you're finding where your authentic yes is and your authentic no is, and just playing within that without the expectation of what it should look like or have to look like. So yeah, the cuddle and play essentials is really sort of exploring further and taking longer with the exercises, so that you can sort of deepen more of a reference point in your body for certain pieces as well that we don't necessarily have time for sometimes in the cuddle party as well. So this is sort of playing a bit further with that. And also, you know, it might go, because it's going from cuddle to play, we're actually sort of exploring more about what it means to ask for what you want. That's a bit more maybe sexual, a bit more, you know, on that pleasure spectrum that's heading towards that direction. So that's the space is a bit more open to that, whereas the cuddle party's not.
Yeah, because, I mean, yeah, so, and I think that is part of the thing too. I'll just say, I mean, I know exactly what you mean by potluck. I mean, at this festival, it's actually quite interesting because everybody is on that same page. When you come along and you don't know anyone, there, you know, there's always someone to work with, but you know that person's also had the same kind of introduction as you and is there with the same sort of purpose. So again, it creates that sense of safety to try something, you know, with people that you haven't met before, in terms of the exercises that are presented in the workshops, which is really cool. And it's like, so what is it that attracted you to this kind of work? What's the kind of, so I mean, I don't know that when you're growing up, oh, when I grow up I want to be a cuddle party facilitator. I mean, it might happen now, but you know, it's not been around for that long really, this as an official kind of job description, I guess, cuddle party facilitator. So what is it that attracted you to doing this work?
Yeah, how long have you got? It's look, the shortened version. I feel like that's sort of the area of sort of personal growth stuff, shall we say, has always been sort of on my radar. Was lucky enough to have parents who sort of were exploring themselves, so I sort of went along for the ride, and I was always very curious on those edges. And really, I'd say, I just sort of had a bit of a life crisis moment, I think, around about 30. Maybe astrology would say maybe your Saturn return comes and hits you in the face. But I just sort of, just expanded. I went and I had to go and search for something more. And so when I searched for that thing, I found myself immersed in these environments. I went to workshops and retreats, and that's where I found, other people that were doing similar work and other things. And so there may even be people at the festival who've experienced what I've experienced, where they're going, I'm looking for something more. I've hit something. I've hit a wall in my life, or I just need to go and explore more of myself in some way. And so I went off and did that, and I discovered those parts of myself. And then it just I just followed the pull. I just followed the things that drew me in, and sort of the sexuality side of it was something that was exciting for me, and I really enjoyed learning about it. I enjoyed teaching about it, and it just sort of grew from there. And so for now, specifically with Cuddle Party, I feel it's like that next edge of I really enjoy the communication piece in regards to sexuality. The consent piece is huge. I'm very passionate about that. I feel like it's sort of a deep part of our culture that we're trying to shift, and we need to get educated in order to be able to make those changes. So yeah, that's why I feel like this work's really important, and why this festival is really important for those reasons.
Yeah, and I mean, your journey resonates with my own. It was really like what, was at this point in my life where I felt like I wanted more, but I looked around and what do I want more of? And and it was actually, going to workshops and so on, like we've got at Celebrating Sexuality, but I sort of had to, go to this one and this one and this one, and trying to find like were the people teaching, what were their qualifications, were they going to actually give me some good information, or how do I know the information's good? And that's something that, with this festival, we've brought together all those people so that, the people attending can try different things and know that all of those facilitators are qualified and have and I think too, a lot of them would probably be safe to say they'd resonate a lot with what you've said in terms of, you went on the journey of learning for yourself and then realized you'd wanted to help other people.
Yep, I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Yeah.
So it's also like thinking about, so you've been to the festival, how many you weren't there last year, but you were there the couple of years before as well, I think.
So I've attended once and presented once.
Presented, yeah. And so what is it, so is there anything now like that you're looking forward to in particular about this year's festival?
Well, I love the theme because it's right up my alley. And also, it's like, from a professional perspective, it's like going to a conference, because I get to catch up with all the people, well, not all of them, but quite a significant number of people who are also presenters or people who are attending who I've met before, to share other people's work and to listen to it and to get reinvigorated by the community aspect of it. And that, I guess, in this work for me, a lot of it is like the personal and professional are quite intertwined. It's not, a separate identity for myself. I really embody everything, that I'm trying to teach as best as I can, and I'm still learning. But, it's being in this place is invigorating, on all levels. And I'm really looking forward to and this is the thing. What I love teaching is meeting new people and then getting into that space where someone is just having that aha moment, which could just be something, the most simplest thing, that I might just say one little statement and someone comes up and says, wow, that just blew me away. It just made me realize blah, 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 about this. And it's like, yeah, you just never know how you're going to impact, you know, when you just show up. So I'm excited by, you know, holding space for those kinds of moments that may happen. So.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, I'm so excited. I keep going. I can't believe, like, I know it's 12 weeks is somehow a long time, but not that far away either. So I'm really looking forward to just also there's, you know, for me too, there's some of the crew and the presenters that, you know, we only see each other once a year. It's like just because we all live in different places, and so, you know, it has got that aspect for me of like a coming home type feeling, because, and it's just so exciting, and seeing, seeing the transformation for people over the weekend is just phenomenal. Like in, you know, 3 short days, it feels like sometimes it feels so long over the weekend, but it's actually in the whole span of time, it's very short. And it's something too, though, that, you know, the emails and messages I get from people, or if I bump into them around Melbourne, you know, who talk to me about how much it's changed their life is just, I mean, I often have no words for it. It's just amazing and really exciting that we're able to help people in this way to connect more deeply with who they are. And I always find it interesting too. There's always lots of people who come to me and say, I came for this reason, but I got this, you know, I sort of came for this and I got, whoa, you know, like this in terms of what I'm taking back with me. And something that's really important to me as well was that you guys do provide, you know, so if somebody has a question after they've attended the festival, they can contact the facilitators and ask them a question, and then it might be that they want to work with that facilitator some more to go deeper. So, you know, yourself, you run workshops in Perth as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So how often are you doing that? I think I've seen the cuddle party come up on Facebook a couple of times. So
yes, the cuddle parties are happening at least once a month at the moment.
Yeah.
And then every now and then there's something else that I might put on that, you know, it depends on what I'm being inspired by, but it's usually in the realm of some kind of embodiment-based piece. So yeah, and then there's also, you know, just contacting me for sessions as well. So
yeah, awesome. And so people can, I've got your contact details on the screen. So for those people who are in Perth in Western Australia, you can get in contact with Vanessa about the work that she's doing there. And yeah, so I think, you know, if we have any questions from people, you know, please do pop them in the comments box below, and, you know, we'll answer that. We'll jump on and answer them, you know, if they come in later. And yeah, I think that you know, I'm just so happy that you're joining us again, Vanessa, to present with us in November, and I really look forward to seeing you. So yeah, as I said, not far to go now. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to let you go now and enjoy your day.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. See you
Thanks.
soon.
Bye now.
Bye.